Evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the City of Dalton Mayor and Council meeting of Monday, August the 17th, 2026. A quorum is present. This time I would like to invite everyone to stand and ask Mr. Parker to lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, council members, you have before you an agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, before we move on to public commentary, I would just like to share that on behalf of our council, that our staff have been working very diligently for a matter of weeks in learning more about ordinances and processes where cities and counties are contemplating about data centers and other types of industry that are related to it. So I just wanted to share that with everyone this evening. Okay, under public commentary, I've got a stack of cards. I'd like to remind everyone, as we have shared before, and it's been our practice for as long as I've been on the council, that we ask that people's comments be kept to 3 minutes. I'm not going to cut anyone off in the middle of a sentence. I want you to complete your thought. But if you are extending past 3 minutes and you're not finishing a sentence, I am going to interrupt you and I am going to thank you and I'm going to ask that you sit down, just because this is a pretty good stack here. But I do want you to complete your thought and I do want you to get your point across, and we appreciate people's participation. And I want to say again, we appreciate the thoughtful and respectful manner in which people have been coming and addressing us. All right. First this evening, Jose Morales. Oh, and also, I believe we ran out of cards. Was there anyone that wasn't able to fill out a card that wanted to? Okay, if so, I think we'll find a way to accommodate you. Mr. Morales, hey, good evening.
Good evening to everyone here and council members, Madam Mayor. My name is Jose Morales. I am a lifelong resident of Dalton, Georgia. And the reason why I'm here today is to talk about the newly adopted alcohol ordinance that went into effect, I believe, June, has some changes, and I know that's coming up again today. And so more specifically, I want to talk about how that has affected event facilities that traditionally operated as spaces that did not sell alcohol, did not have events that were paid for, that were not open to the public, or events facilities that were for families that wanted to have birthday parties, quinceañera celebrations such as those. I have spoken to most, if not all, of those business owners that are within city limits, and they all share the same concerns. So I'm here speaking on their behalf. First, the new ordinance inside the city limits has placed a burden on all those business owners that are going to make it really hard for us to compete, because this does not apply to facilities in the county. And so even if we complied with all of the requirements, newly requirements, as far as the security guards and the pour and alcohol license and all of that, of course, our pricing is going to have to increase. And so when we have customers that come to us trying to rent that space and we have all those new requirements, they're going to turn around and go a mile down Morris Street into Murray Avenue, which is county, and they're going to rent for them. So we're at a disadvantage. We're not going to be able to compete with those type of requirements that the city has imposed on those event facilities. I really feel that taking a one-size-fits-all approach to all places that have gatherings, such as banquet halls, event centers, and all, it's not the best approach for us to have in the city. So there's a requirement that says that for every 50 guests in attendance, you need to have a security guard present. If I were to have my mother's birthday next weekend at one of those facilities, by the time I invited my brothers, their wives, my nieces and nephews. We're at 50 already. Why do I need a security guard for my family to get together and celebrate some kind of milestone? Okay. As far as the pouring license, I understand the ordinance is regulating the sale of alcohol, right, and consumption of alcohol, but our type of facilities have never operated on any kind of sales of alcohol, any kind of events that are ticketed where attendees have to pay to attend. So it doesn't make sense that we have those requirements. A one size fits all, again, ordinance, I don't think is the right direction for the city to have, considering all the facilities that are within a mile, mile and a half, 2 miles outside of the city do not have those requirements. Okay. I think I had a whole thing typed out, but I just wanted to speak from the heart because I've had these conversations with a lot of the owners, and we all are in agreement. This is it. Honestly, you're putting us out of business. We're going to have to close. That's what it comes down to, because we cannot effectively compete with those guys that are just down the street. Okay, so again, maybe we can get together at some point, talk about some of these things. I want to make very clear, we want to offer facilities that are safe. We want to make sure that the fire safety is there. We want to make sure the capacity limits are met. You know, we want to provide space that are safe for our customers, but yet we don't want to make them so cumbersome that we are just not going to be able to operate in the city limits. That's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. All right, next, Mr. Price. Mike Price.
Thank you. Good evening, Mike Price at MAP Engineers. You have before you this evening, there will be for consideration as it relates to rezoning and annexation for the Willowdale subdivision. And what we would ask for your consideration when that time comes is to look at hopefully tabling that matter to give us time to be able to work through providing additional information that we think will be helpful going through the process. So if y'all would hopefully take that under consideration to do so, we would definitely appreciate that. If there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Tammy Bartlett.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Good evening. My name is Tammy Bartlett. I live here. I work in AI, and I want Dalton to benefit from its growth. But I'm asking you to consider a moratorium on new data centers while Dalton creates a comprehensive ordinance for their development. I believe we can welcome new investment while making sure that growth also serves the long-term interests of the community. Before more data centers are approved, I believe we should fully understand what additional development may require of our infrastructure, what risks it may create, and what environmental and quality of life effects it may have on the people who live here. AI is advancing extraordinarily quickly, and the infrastructure needed to support it is expanding just as rapidly. That makes thoughtful local planning even more important. We all want a Dalton that welcomes opportunity while remaining a safe, strong, and prosperous place to live. A moratorium will give the city time to make sound decisions from a position of knowledge. A strong ordinance can help protect the community and make sure future growth strengthens Dalton for the long term. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Carmen Schuler. If you'll please hit the button, Ms. Schuler, it'll turn green. Thank you.
That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for those encouraging words that you are taking time to review the ordinance and moratorium proposals that we provided you. That's very encouraging. And I hope that our remarks will be helpful to you
as we are continuously gathering new information and can have input for you. Many of us have been looking into this issue for months, some years. Tammy working in the field for years. Did want to let you know that 1 in 5 counties in Georgia now has a data center ordinance or is drafting one. So you can be in with that group. 34 counties and 23 cities are in development of moratoriums or drafting them as of June. I've recently noticed that some people kind of, whatever concern you bring up, start talking about the closed coil cooling system. That's great. That's best practices for that. But we all know that is not the answer to all of our concerns. So I want to mention a few things that one thing to assure anyone who's here talking about it for the first time, that a moratorium is a pause. It is not a ban. We are not wanting to hurt our economy. We're wanting to maximize our intelligence in planning this ordinance. Of course, we know we want to protect our water, power resources, our environment, wildlife, fish, and their habitats. Someone's going to talk to you about something I bet you don't know. I didn't know it. We have 3 endangered species that have to be considered. That's something we have to look into, Whitfield and Dalton, and get expert research on the monarch butterfly migration route that comes through here. That's our responsibility. Want to prohibit lower power or water rates for data centers than for residents and other businesses. I was going to mention the light pollution issue for the monarchs. That's the problem. They get, like birds, the bright lights mess them up and they can't get where they need to go. It's that simple. They have an internal God-made GPS, and the bright lights at night mess that up. So the only other thing I would add is that we need an NDA ban. That's a non-disclosure agreement ban. It ensures transparency. It prevents bad planning in favor of data centers, overlooking the needs of the residents, the public health, and the environment.
Mrs. Schuler?
Is my time up?
Yes, ma'am. If you could please.
I have finished my
please-
thoughts.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Postel, Quentin Postel.
Thank you. So my name is Quentin Postel. And so basically I wanted to, okay. So I want to come in here and kind of add on to the whole statement about NDAs. Right now in this moment, we have 4 counties specifically that I can kind of levy to you guys. Between Columbia, they reported an NDA confidentiality agreement. So they have then signed into one. The second would be Longdence County. The NDA was reported, but no county approval, just city. Monroe County, the county refused. Hogansville County, the city NDA was approved, but no county NDA approved. And then Coweta County, however you pronounce it, the city economic development NDA was talked about, but nothing from the county. So in short, when we talk about NDAs, we understand that in the corporate business field, they're important because it helps businesses operate as well to protect employees, financial assets, and potentiality with growth in the economy. But when you're a public servant and you're working with the community, your contract, your perpetuity, your existence should stem strictly to helping your community. And NDAs are a corporate price tag you're basically putting on someone's life, especially as a county representative, right? Especially as a county city councilman sitting as well. So Whitfield County has proudly announced that they are not signing NDAs. My question would be to the councilman, have any of you signed NDAs for AI centers?
Mr. Postel, it's not our practice to respond. This is not going to open this to be a Q&A, but we're not my puzzled look is I'm not familiar with any of us being in that position at any point. So it's not something we participated in. So.
Fine. I just want to make sure that's on the record. And so when I move forward, communicating with the city and the community, that not only can I advocate for you as well, but we can see that the county and the city are working toward the moratoriums like you announced earlier. Thank you. And as well that we're not signing any contracts that put profits before people. So thank you, ma'am, Mayor. Thank you
Okay.
to the councilman. You have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Mr. Postone. Mr. Gonzalez, Fidel Gonzalez, thank you for coming.
They don't make these for people 6'2". That might be my first ask. A little bit. So, Mayor, council members, thank you for the time to speak with you this evening. I'm also here to join several people here in this audience to speak on the moratorium of the AI data centers. So, as we all know, there's a lot of AI data centers being built in this country, and we know that there are AI data centers in this region. So we have concern over that because of the obvious. There's a lot of power usage, right? It drives rates up. There's water consumption, even in a closed and loop system that is still enclosed. So they have to absorb water to keep that within the pipes. We have just, it's taken up people's lands. We have families down in Georgia, here in Georgia, that have lost homes, that have been wrecked because they had to run some power lines to be able to power these AI data centers. So there's a lot of dangers, a lot of bad things that come about these AI data centers. And there's a lot of good things as well, right? Because they can be very helpful tools that a lot of us use. But the problem is that we have, there's a lot of misuse of AI. For example, there's a lot of propaganda out there. There's bad actors, et cetera, right? I know this is not the job for the council to fix that, but I want to keep that in mind that we need to work to push back against these AI data centers as a community, as a city, as a county, and as a state, and as a country, which we are, right? We're gaining momentum. We're getting a lot of people on board. People are being informed. They're understanding the dangers of AI data centers. And with that said, I think that we have an opportunity as the people to push back and fight back and put some regulations in place. And it starts with voicing our concerns and making the pushback popular so that people, people who do have leverage, who have power, such as you guys, can then, speak out for us, speak for us, because at the end of the day, I may be affected directly, Quentin may be affected directly, or anybody in this audience may be affected directly, as well as you guys. And we have to stand together, right? We're all still citizens of this city, of this county. And so we need to stand together because it may be us next, right? And I don't want me to be next. I don't want my family to be next. I don't want you guys to be next. And we have to keep that in mind when we're pushing back and defending this city, right? So we have to stand up together, right? All the other counties, we're all standing up together, but we have to find a different solution than to just build more AI data centers. So I hope that this resonates with a lot of you. I think we're all human at the end of the day, right? No one's really any different than the other. We can all fall victim to this because we may be even neighbors, right? So if my house gets torn down, I guess somebody else's house next to me could get torn down as well. So again, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate the community standing up and fighting back. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Jose Gallegos. I apologize if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, sir.
Hello, good evening, members of the City Council. I'm here today concerned about what these new ordinances and requirements could mean for small businesses here in Dalton. Our family has been operating our venue here in Dalton for almost 8 years. We have worked hard to serve our community and provide a place for families to celebrate and build our business. We understand the importance of safety and the following regulations, but in reality, it is many of these small businesses cannot afford all of these new expenses, like new licenses, alcohol licenses, security, and potentially tens of thousands of dollars for sprinkler systems. We have been told that a sprinkler system alone would cost around $70,000 for our small venue here in Dalton. When costs like these continue to pile up, it becomes extremely difficult for small, family-owned businesses to survive. We worry that these requirements will leave only the larger businesses, the ones with the money and resources to absorb these costs and able to operate. Small businesses are an important part of Dalton. We work, invest, hire, and serve here in our communities. We respectfully ask the City Council to consider the financial impact these requirements have on small businesses and find a way to protect our community without making things impossible for small businesses to stay open. We don't want special treatment. We just want a fair chance to keep our businesses alive and continue to attributing to Dalton. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Alicia Hickman.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Alicia Hickman. I grew up in Dalton. I'm a resident of Whitfield County. I am still opposed to AI data centers. All of Dalton and Whitfield County are in the Conasauga Rivershed. So not just the Tri-Spot darter, the Conasauga bluebird, and the monarchs are endangered. Pretty much every species in this watershed is endangered due to habitat loss. I feel like AI is kind of the modern Wikipedia, and I do expect it to be a bubble that is going to burst when these abatements run out in 10 years. So I'm curious to know what the plan is for the empty warehouses. Ashburn, Virginia has a lot of empty AI data centers that are just taking up space. And I had read an article in the Financial Times by Gillian Tett. New hires who were seen as AI natives are turning out to have alarmingly shallow ideas. So much so, the anonymous finance worker admitted that his firm now actively avoids seeking out AI literate STEM graduates and opts to comb through humanities students instead. If we have to have these data centers, I'd rather build them in someone else's backyard instead of Whitfield County and Dalton's backyard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hickman. Becky Ferguson.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Becky Ferguson. I reside in the Windermere subdivision at 1811 Canterbury. And my property is adjacent to the subject property for the Windermere rezoning request. And 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of speaking to you regarding the zoning request. And tonight I would like to highlight my main concerns as well as those of my many neighbors who are present in the room tonight. Can y'all, just so the council can see, if you're a Windermere, thank you. Thank you. If we can just note that for the record, please. And in consideration of time, I will not restate every point expressed in the last meeting, but I would like to summarize the points for your consideration. The first being zoning consistency. The subject property is currently zoned R2, which aligns with established residential areas along Hag Mill and the Windermere subdivision. It's currently zoned as R2, and that provides a reasonable economic use as the current zoning. The traffic concerns on the bypass, we request a traffic study to determine how increased traffic flow on and off of Willowdale Road would impact traffic flow on the bypass. This area is already congested and traffic routinely backs up on the bypass west of the Willowdale Road intersection, creating insufficient distance to access Willowdale Road directly. Noise and light pollution. If rezoning is approved, the tree canopies and underbrush, which currently serve as barriers between the I-75 exchange and our neighborhood, would be eliminated. Destruction of green space and the ecosystem. We request an assessment from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources to determine the impact of destruction of green space to make way for R4 development. This area is home to diverse wildlife, including owls, the Appalachian box turtle, monarch butterflies, hummingbirds, and a variety of songbirds. Also, we want a viable plan to mitigate the herd of deer that live in that space to prevent pushing the deer into the neighborhood or out onto the bypass. In conclusion, it is important to note that both the planning staff as well as the planning commission recommended against the rezoning request, and we asked the council to do the same and deny the R4 zoning request. And of course, we just heard tonight, there might be a change of plans from the developer, but we still ask, this is the third time that we've come together to discuss this topic, and we recommend or request if we can go ahead and vote for a denial tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. All right, I do not have any other cards. No one's coming forward or raising their hand that they were unable to get a card. Thank you, everyone, again, for your comments. And again, cannot say enough how much we appreciate the polite and respectful manner in which you each present your thoughts. All right, moving on to presentations, staff reports.
We do have one this evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Steve Roberts, our Director of Parks and Recreation, has an exciting update for you all.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I wanted to extend a formal invitation to Mayor, Council, and to the public for the re-grand opening of the John Davis Recreation Center. That will be August the 29th. We're doing it on a Saturday so that the kids can be there. We're doing, it starts at 10 a.m. and we will have that through about 1 p.m. that day. It will remain open the rest of the day for your enjoyment, but we will have kind of a grand opening festivities during that time period. So just wanted to extend that welcome to everybody and hopefully to the public itself.
Thank you, Steve. I know that we're all excited, you and your team and the vendors that have helped with this project. It's a huge, huge accomplishment. We're all very, very excited.
Oh, it's been a long time coming and we're ready to get it open.
We're all excited. Thank you for sharing that. Any other staff reports? All right, moving on to minutes. Mayor and Council work session minutes of August the 3rd, 2026. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3, Mayor and Council regular meeting minutes of August the 3rd, 2026. I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, under unfinished business, item number 4, second reading ordinance 26-16, the request of BC Managing LLC to annex 21.5 acres located on Willowdale Road Northwest, Dalton, Georgia. Tax parcel 12-146-03-000 into the city of Dalton as 0 lot line residential R4 parcel 12-146-03-000. I will entertain a motion.
Gene may have some comments.
Oh, gosh. I
You
didn't,
don't.
I wasn't paying, I didn't look up, Gene. I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's okay.
Good evening.
I don't really have any comments to make. If you're willing to make a motion, I'll certainly.
Okay, and this is in relation to annexation.
I would say though, if you don't mind,
Yes,
without
ma'am,
causing
please.
too much controversy, you don't really need to annex it as R4. It is currently R2. So if you decide to annex it into the city limits, it needs to remain as R2. You're going to have a rezoning request later on in this agenda where you'll talk about the R4, but to annex, it needs to be R2.
Okay, let me,
Right. And if I could just add, the confusion on that came from, that was the nomenclature as it was presented to us from the Planning Commission agenda. So that language was just carried, but Ms. Garland is correct that the property is currently zoned R2.
okay, so let me provide and read an abbreviated version again. So this is second reading ordinance 26-16, the request of BC Managing LLC to annex 21.5 acres located on Willowdale Road into the city of Dalton as 0 lot, well, excuse me, into the city of Dalton, R2. Thank you, Gene. Are there any comments or questions on this item for Gene? If not, I will entertain a motion.
A motion to table.
Okay, I have a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I heard 3 in the affirmative. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And I do have 3 in the affirmative. Let me just, for the record, ask for a roll call on that, please. 3 in the affirmative.
And then I. Yes. Not.
Okay, thank you. And then 1 deny. All right, thank you. Jean, are you here for the next one too? All right, item number 5. Second reading ordinance 26-17, the request of BC Managing LLC to annex 20.6 acres located at 1006 Willadell Road, Northwest Dalton, Georgia, tax parcel 12-146-02-00000 into the city of Dalton, R2. Do you?
Motion to table.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. All right. Item number 6, second reading ordinance 26-18, the request of BC Managing LLC to rezone from low-density single-family residential R2 to zero lot line residential R4, a tract of land totaling 42 acres located at 1006 Willadell Road Northwest and unaddressed Willadell Road Northwest Dalton, Georgia. Parcels 12-146-03-000 and tax parcel 12-146-02-000. Any comments or questions of Jean on this
The
item?
only comment that I have is because you didn't annex it, it's not within your jurisdiction to make a decision about zoning. So until you annex, then you could take up the rezoning request.
Okay, so we do not take any action on this.
That's correct, Mayor. It would have to be tabled.
Okay, do you need a vote for that or is it by default?
It's by default. If you'd like to put it on the record, you certainly can.
Happy if you all are accepting of default, city attorney advises that by default it's tabled. So,
Fine. Yeah.
all right, we'll move on. Item number 7, thank you, Jean. Item number 7, second reading ordinance 26-19 to amend chapter 6 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned alcoholic beverages by striking, repealing, and deleting the definition of local caterer or concessionaire set forth in section 6-1 and replacing it with a new definition of local caterer or concessionaire by striking, repealing, and deleting section 6-73 captioned amount of fees and replacing it with a new section 6-73 by striking, repealing, and deleting section 6-110 captioned local caterer, concessionaire, preferred caterer, and concessionaire, and replacing it with a new section 6-110 by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection B boy of section 6-111 captioned temporary permits for nonprofit civic organizations and replacing it with a new subsection B boy to amend chapter 10 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned amusements and entertainments, section 10-112 captioned sale of beer and or wine by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection A2 of section 10-112 and replacing it with a new subsection A2 and by striking, repealing, and deleting only subsection D David 1 of section 10-112 and replacing it with a new subsection D David 1 to amend chapter 26 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned businesses, article 11 captioned event facilities by striking, repealing, and deleting section 26-414 and replacing it with a new section 26-414 and to extend the time for owners and operators of event facilities and micro event facilities currently operating in the city to come into compliance with chapter 26 of the 2001 revised code of the city of Dalton, Georgia, captioned businesses, article 11 captioned event facilities through and including November the 16th, 2026. Jonathan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Excuse me. We went through this ordinance in detail at the last meeting. And the gist of the ordinance is to make it easier to get a catering license. We've taken out the food requirement. We've made it clear that this is an add-on license. and we've lowered the cost of getting the license. And I'm happy to go through each change that we made like we did last time if you would like. But we've made no changes since that time. So it's up
Since
to
we have had some folks come this evening with some questions and comments, can you please certainly cover what this does and does not address? Because I know in one of the comments, I personally heard comments about sprinkler systems, fire suppression as it relates to fire life safety, and this may or may not have any bearing on that.
this ordinance does not touch those
Okay.
things. And I'll run through it very quickly.
Okay.
We made a change to section 6.1, the definitions. That's where we changed the definition of a caterer from having to have a food requirement to a caterer being a business that has been licensed that way. In section 673, we changed the fee, lowered the fee to $75 per category of alcohol that would be sold. There is a section at the end of 673 that allows the caterer to get a pouring, anyone who has a pouring license to be able to get a catering license that has the same type of alcohol that they sell at their main business. Section 6110 has some provisions that deal with there being no pouring outlet getting a license other than, any pouring outlet can get a catering license other than an event facility. And so that would not be eligible for that category. It makes clear that there are no sales of alcohol by the drink off premises of a licensed facility unless there is a catering license. There are provisions that relate to Sunday sales, and it basically just ties the catering license to state requirements. So if you can sell on Sunday as a pursuant to state law, you would be able to do it here. It makes clear that an event permit, is required, and that just tracks state law. That's something that licensed caterers are supposed to do anyway. There's a provision in section 4 that expands the times that nonprofits can get a temporary license. State law allows those up to 6 times per year. We previously allowed only 3. This moves it to 6. Section 5, Section 5 has some changes to an alternative festival area. So that no longer are festival areas just limited to C3. You can have them outside of C3 with approval of the city administrator, chief of police, and other department heads. Section 6 made some clarifications to special outdoor areas and festivals, just making clear that anyone who has a valid pouring license within the city, within C3, could sell within C3. If it's an alternative festival outside of C3, that would be restricted to licensed caterers or temporary permits that are issued to nonprofits. Section 7 had some changes just to the grandfathering language in the event facility ordinance. And it just makes clear that if you don't comply with the location requirements in 26407, you would be grandfathered. And then Section 8 extends the time for event facilities to get a license and come into compliance through November 16th. That was previously in September, and so we pushed that date back.
Can you, there was a comment that I also heard about security guards. Can you speak to where that's applicable?
I can. That's not in the changes that you are making tonight. In event facilities, that qualifies event facilities under that definition. And that's not everybody. That's not private parties. Those are event facilities that cater to the public. They're either selling alcohol under their own alcohol license, or they've got a caterer. Those facilities would have that requirement.
So for a ticketed event,
Correct.
not a private party.
Correct.
So to bring up what Mr. Morales had said, if he had like a birthday party or just say a Christmas gathering that couldn't fit in the house, they would not have to have a caterer because, say, the family brought food.
That's
Right.
correct. Yeah, a private party with your own own family, things like that, that would not apply. The definition of event facilities requires that you're either selling alcohol and having an event, or you're actually advertising to the public as being an event facility for weddings or for parties or things of that nature. So it's a private party and it's your family, it would not require a license.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments on this item? And then does this ordinance address the cost for an event facility license?
This particular ordinance addresses the cost for catering licenses.
For catering licenses. So that's what this is what we're voting on tonight.
That's what you're voting on tonight, and we're lowering it substantially. It was several $1,000s before. Now it will be $75 per category.
So categories being pouring, pouring wine.
Category being, they're all pouring. Category would be distilled spirits, wine, or beer. So if you had all three, it would be $225.
Okay. And then is there an insurance requirement that's included in this ordinance tonight?
It's not in what you're doing tonight. There is an insurance requirement for event facilities.
Okay. And that's not included in this tonight. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions or comments on this item?
Well, thanks for that clarification.
I move that we approve this ordinance.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, item number 8, under new business, certification of consistency with consolidated plan, Dalton Whitfield Community Development Corporation. Cindy?
Screen. Okay. This is just a certification that the project that Dalton Whitfield Community Development Corporation is consistent with our consolidated plan. The program that Dalton Whitfield Community Development, that they are putting in place is they provide apartments to individuals and families that were previously homeless. And of course, homelessness falls into our consolidated plan.
All right.
And we just have to certify that for HUD.
Okay, are there questions or comments on this item of Cindy? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 9, collateral assignment of TAD agreement, Hammond Creek Township LLC. Jonathan?
Mayor, this is a request that came from the developer of TAD 4. They are involved in getting their financing refinanced. And pursuant to section 9.6 of the TAD agreement, they are allowed to have a collateral assignment of their agreement. And what that means is the bank is taking an interest in that. So they're allowed to do that with or without your permission. But they have asked, the bank has asked that we do that in writing. And so all this is a consent to what you're required to do anyway.
All right. Any questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Have a second. Is there any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 10, service agreement, Hamilton Medical Center, mobile mammography bus, employee health fair. Halima?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. Human Resources seeking approval to partner with Hamilton Medical Center for our second annual employee health fair. This is a health fair that is designed to focus on promoting healthy lifestyles and preventative care for our employees. This year, we're looking forward to extending preventative care by partnering with Hamilton Medical Center, which will provide a mobile mammography bus to offer eligible employees convenient access to breast cancer screenings. This agreement has been viewed by our city attorney, and I'll take any questions if you guys have any.
All right, questions or comments of Halima?
Is there a cost involved?
So there's no cost to the employer. However, it will be billed as a preventative care for employees, and it'll be direct billed to the employee if they choose to. There's also some qualifications that the employee would have to meet, such as not having the screening done within a year, a female employee age 40 and up. So they will be able to, if they're able to meet the criteria, then they'll be able to do it through the bus.
All right, any other questions or comments on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11, service contract with Tri-State Roofing Contractors LLC for city hangar at the airport. Andrew?
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Seeking approval for a service contract with Tri-State Roofing Contractors LLC to rehabilitate the 30-year-old roof on our main hangar at the airport. This would be a TPO membrane over the existing roof that would give us another 20 years on that roof. The cost is $103,942, and this would come out of grant contract number 45, which was the hangar development contract. That project came in around $144,000 under budget. So we have some money left over in that fund, and GDOT has given us the permission to use that for this roofing project. So
All right,
happy to answer any questions.
questions or comments on this item for Andrew?
Move we approve this.
All right, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, there is no supplemental business before this body under announcements. Before we read item number 12, please encourage family, friends to come and join us at 10 a.m. on August the 29th for the grand reopening of John Davis Recreation Center. We are all very excited. And item number 12, city government offices will be closed Monday, September 7th, 2026 in observance of Labor Day. The next scheduled city council meeting will take place the day following, which will be Tuesday, September the 8th, 2026. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.